Hey, good afternoon. This is Jim N4BFR. Happy Sunday. Hope you're having a great holiday weekend. This is your COVID-19 metrics update for Sunday, and we'll sneak in a weekly update as well. So let's get going on the data. All right, tests reported today just under 20,000, 1,651 new cases, and an 8.8% positive rate. What does that mean versus last week? Well, tests were up, cases were up. That 8.8% is down a little bit, I believe, and that's the way the day looks. So we averaged about 2,000 tests a day. 2,000 new cases a day this week. So we are we're a little below the line. I expect that to be down because who wants to go get a COVID test on a holiday weekend unless you're really feeling bad? So I think tomorrow's will be down. Probably Tuesdays will be down as well. And then Wednesday and beyond will start creeping back up is the way I see that. Really interesting thing to look at from a death perspective today. We only had 40 deaths yesterday. That is low for a Saturday when we've been trending that high. Typically, and I did this analysis on the August data, Saturday comes in above the 7-day average, and this week it didn't. Typically, Sunday comes in way below the 7-day average, and this week it didn't. It actually came in above the 7-day average. So, I didn't appreciate that we would see a Sunday higher than a Saturday. I didn't think that was statistically the way the data is running. So I went back and looked over the last 6 months. So out of that 24, 26 opportunities for Saturday's data to be higher than Sunday, it only happened 3 times before this. So it's very rare that it happens today. The other rare thing is it just so happens to happen on the day we pass 6,000 cases. And we didn't pass them on the Saturday of the holiday weekend. And we've had this conversation a bunch of times, and I can go back to some other videos and point it out, but there definitely is a gut feeling that these reports are slowed down or sped up or modified in some way, that they come out, so bad news comes out on Friday or Saturday or now Sunday. So why didn't cases go up? Why didn't deaths go up yesterday and come down today? We'll never know for sure, but it does feel like some things were moved around a little bit to have this data come out. I mean, look at last Sunday. We barely had 20. So we are 32 deaths higher. All right, we had 30. We are 32 deaths higher than last week. It doesn't make sense on a holiday weekend either, because in general, we see people working less. These are manual reports, so people actually have to fill them out and approve them and all those kind of things. Why would they spend a Saturday afternoon of a holiday weekend doing that so they could get into the Sunday count? So all that put together, there's a saying in the legal arena, correlation doesn't equal causation. Just because you were in the bank when it was robbed doesn't mean you robbed the bank, but it feels like somebody robbed the bank here, or at least played with the numbers a little bit to get this to come out, so we passed 6,000 on a Sunday. Your mileage may vary, but let's hold that a little bit and just look at what's happening with deaths on a weekly basis, and you'll see why there's probably the desire to bury bad news as much as possible. Over the GEMA active hospitalizations, we ended up at 80 for the day. 81% CCU utilization is what we ended up at. We ended up fixing the data from yesterday. So remember I was talking about how data had jumped up Active beds had jumped up 448, and it's never jumped up more than 150 before. Data entry error. Somebody put in 500 more than they should have in one region, and that's why we have it. So it backed that 500 out, went down day over day from Friday to Saturday. Now it's down again. We're at 331. 1658, 31 lower than yesterday. CCU beds were 2335. That is up 20 from yesterday, so a few more critical care beds in use. We are down to 2 regions with over 90%. Athens region, they jumped up 13% yesterday, while TIFT region was, down 1%. They're at 92. So those are the only 2 areas that are over 50%, or 90% at this point. Wow, I'm just not getting it completely clicking today, but that's okay. We'll bear with me. We'll power through and go on to the weekly data. All right, weekly numbers. This, if I look at tests over the last 4 weeks, I would call that statistically flat. I think the total change is, what are we looking at here? It's small on my screen. Hang on. I can put it on a different screen here. We were at 18,000 on the week of 8/16. We're at 180,000 versus 160,000. Yes, we're declining, but we're not really seeing a material decline in the number of tests. Excuse me. So that was some interesting data as we look at the tests. Tests were down 3% week over week. The test declined last week at 8%, so it does seem like we're just hitting a plateau there. There could be some holiday stuff in there. Who wants to go get your nose probed on a holiday weekend? So we will see how that changes back. But we dropped about 775 tests a day last week. This is the first time on the cases side that we have not seen a double-digit percentage drop since the week of August 9th. So if you take a look at that first full week of August, we were at 23,419, down from 25,224. And we've seen a nice progressive drop-off. Now, the week of 8/16 to the 8/23, we dropped 3,000, then we dropped another 2,000. Now we only dropped 700. So smoothing out of that trend and getting to a new plateau. My hope was we would get back down to where we were in June. That doesn't look like it's going to happen in the next few weeks for sure if we keep at this level of decline. And judging by high school football, college football, parties, Labor Day weekend, we're probably going to start back up in the next 2 weeks. And the little bit of a scary part to me is when we started off Memorial Day, we were only at 5,100 cases a week. We're starting off Labor Day at 14,000 cases a week. So we're 3 times higher. It's fingers crossed time here and hope that we don't get the spread that we expect to see. Let's go on to hospitalizations. This is really good news. Down to 951, so below 1,000 for the first time since June. That's terrific. We are, the closest to being back in the May-June normal state on new hospitalizations as we can. Are people making a decision and saying, well, I might put you in the hospital, but since it's a holiday weekend, let's stay home and treat it for a couple of days and see what happens. I think that is plausible, but we'll find that out over the next few days as the results start to come in again. All right, I promised to talk a little bit more about deaths, and if you look at the last 4 weeks, you're going to see that we have not really made a material decline in deaths. We've hit a plateau at this 430 to 500 range of weekly deaths. So add these 4 weeks together, almost 2,000 deaths. If you go back to mid-July, what you're going to see roughly is half of the deaths from COVID-19 have come since mid-July. So that's not good news. And it's not good news that this number is not dropping. So again, if I talked about motives for really wanting to try and improve the COVID-19 and get death news out of the news, that would be a motive for wanting to kind of shift the data and maybe hold some data back on Saturday so that 6,000 milestone happens on Sunday. So, like I said, we'll never know for sure, but it certainly feels like it's something that could be happening. All right, the last thing we put in on the weekly report is the mortality view. This is percentage of deaths reported in the week divided by percentage of new cases reported in the week. As you can see, in May, June, we saw, early on in the pandemic, this was above 4 for quite a while, and that was concerning to a lot of people. And we really saw improvement in mid-June where it dropped down. The reason it dropped down is this is a percentage of deaths versus new cases. We had the new cases spike up then. We did not have the deaths climb until the last 5 weeks or so. Certainly at this material, 400 plus a week for the last 5 weeks or so. So now, with new cases declining, that's letting the percentage of deaths creep back up. So now we are at about 3% of new cases results in a death over the last few weeks. And that's, again, not a good number. And so we need to keep our eyes out on that and watch that as we go forward. All right, that's your Sunday update for today. I really appreciate you spending time with me. 2 things. If you want more information and you want to get involved in the discussion, reddit.com/r/coronavirusga, or just click the link in the description and you can get over and join the discussion. Also, if you wouldn't mind, please hit the subscribe button. You're going to see in a second, once I stop talking, Slate will come up, little microphone will come up in a corner. All you got to do is click on the microphone. That'll get you subscribed to my channel. I would appreciate that as well. And that's it. Hope you have a great holiday weekend. We'll talk to you tomorrow and give you an update on what happened on the holiday Monday. See you till then.